Welcome back to Heroic Book Adventures. I'm Steve, and yes, I'm in a new place, new surroundings, but I still got the same great book reviews for you. And just bear with me because I'm fighting a terrible cold right now. But I just finished a buddy read of Dan Simmons' Song of Kali with Angelina from Books Do Things to Me. She said she had noticed in a few of my videos I mentioned having read a few of the other Simmons horror novels and really liking them. So she said, "Hey, you want to read Song of Kali?" I was like, "Hell yeah, I do." So I'm glad she recommended it because it did not disappoint. I believe she's already recorded her video and is going to upload it as soon as I get mine up there. So I'll make sure to link to it below, and I'll probably do a community post linking hers as well. Make sure you check her out. She's got an excellent channel. So Song of Kali follows Robert, who is an American journalist that gets sent on assignment to Calcutta. There's this Indian poet who's went missing for the last 8 years. And now all of a sudden there's belief that he's actually showed back up and he has this epic poem. So the publisher that Robert works for wants him to go over there, retrieve the manuscript for it so they can publish it, and also get some information, do some interviews to kind of find out, what happened with this poet so they can, publish a story along with the epic poem itself. So Robert decides to take his wife and newborn child over there because his wife was actually born in India. So he thought, well, it's an opportunity for her to go back to her home country. And she agrees to go with because she believes she might possibly be of some assistance to him as well because she's kind of like a polyglot. She can speak Bengali and Hindi and that, so she figures she might be able to translate for him if need be. So as soon as they get over there to the city, they find a place that's filthy, dirty, and dangerous, and every person that they run into is super shady. Like they can tell it's just not a very nice place to be. But they get settled into their hotel, and then Robert starts meeting with their connections through the publisher, like the writers union over there, and the other people they're going to meet up with to start doing interviews. And the story starts unraveling where you realize that there's more going on than just this poet gone missing. There's possibly the involvement of this cult of religious zealots that worship Kali, the goddess of death, that may have been involved with his disappearance and everything. So as the story goes on, like things unravel and things start eventually getting out of control, and him and his family are drawn into the events going on, and it actually goes to some really dark places. So yeah, it's a horror novel, but I think fans of mystery and thrillers would also enjoy this one as well because it's kind of got that thriller pacing, like events kind of snowballing out of control and not knowing what's going to happen next. And it's fascinating because this is Simmons' debut novel. So it was nice to see that even that early in his career, he was also already showing just how talented of an author he really is. There's a lot of little things going on in there, like his ability to show you what the environment is like was so good. So many authors need an entire page of description to make you set you in a place, but with just one sentence of his, you can see, smell, and feel what the place is like. Like he did a wonderful job at that, just setting the scene of what the city slum was like. And a wonderful job too of, like, in the first half of the book, the main characters, Robert and his wife, they're not really aware of how bad things really are. But you, the reader, do have a sense of that, of like, oh, this is really screwed up things going on in that. So he kind of kept the characters in the dark for the first half of the book, while you, the reader, are getting this sense of impending doom, like something really bad is going to happen. And I really like how that was done. And there's little moments of it that were so beautiful too, like one night right before they go into bed, they get the baby put down to sleep, and then they're just laying there cuddling like she just fell asleep, and Robert's thinking to himself of how wonderful his family is, and he's just having one of those moments of just peace and tranquility. But yet you, the reader, know that things are not okay at all. So just that little discrepancy, it was just a small thing, like just a paragraph or two to end a chapter, but it was just so effectively done, like just a beautiful little thing that when you read, you're just like glad it's there. Because I'm a huge fan of horror, but most horror out there I really don't even bother with, because so much of it kind of feels like the same stuff being regurgitated over and over again. But no, this stands on its own. It's something unique, and definitely worth checking out. Kind of like the thinking person's horror. You know what I mean? Genre fiction is meant to be for entertainment purposes, but this has something more going on than that. I wouldn't go as far as to call this literary fiction, but I would say that it's kind of subtly literary, if that makes sense. Like, Angelina said that when she reads a Simmons novel, it always makes her want to research more about the subject being discussed. And I completely agree with that, because, like, I admit to being completely unknowledgeable about anything to do with India, its people, culture, religions, nothing. So when something's new to me, the first thing I do is I grab my World Book encyclopedia and read about that specific subject. Now, yeah, when you look up the entry on Calcutta, it'll tell you about the population, climate, things like that, the major industries and things, but it doesn't really tell you about what it's really like being in that city. But he portrayed it as such a horrible place, and the culture of the people so negatively that it kind of made me wonder, like, is that really how people live over there? Is the religious things going on, are there really people out there who want to bring about the age of destruction and death? It's kind of disturbing. So I thought his portrayal was rather fascinating, because usually when we have foreign cultures portrayed, usually they're more romanticized for how exotic and unique they are. But I would say he handled it much differently than that. Like, he came very negatively, because he did not just portray a culture that was foreign and exotic to a Westerner like myself. He actually talked about a lifestyle that's completely antithetical to everything that Western civilization is built upon. And I don't know, I thought that was rather bold of him to portray this culture and way of life in such a negative light. So I found that fascinating. So yeah, I mean, there's tons of cultural commentary, more than I could possibly discuss in a short video like this. But the point I'm getting at is that, in addition to just being an entertaining read, I found this book very fascinating and thought provoking. So if you are into horror at all, or like I said, mysteries or thrillers that veer towards the darker side of things, or you're just fascinated by other cultures, like, definitely check out Song of Kali. It's one that's worth your time, and I enjoyed it. My overall verdict, I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. It was very good. One of the better things I've read so far this year. So definitely make sure you check out what Angelina has to say about it. Like, I know from our email correspondence that she really liked the book, but I'm curious to hear what she has to say because she always has some interesting insights. And there's a lot to unpack with this book. So definitely check it out. And I will see you, evil four-armed goddesses, on our next adventure through the sewage-filled slums of Calcutta.